Motorola injects the Razr Ultra 2025 with bigger hardware upgrades that makes the flip style phone more powerful than anything else prior to it, all while deepening its experience with Moto AI. However, this is all amounts to a steeper cost. With the new moniker, it's no surprise that the Ultra ups the ante with its higher $1,299 starting cost. That's a premium $300 over the Razr Plus 2024 and puts the Razr Ultra firmly into the flagship phone category. I won't say yet if the higher price point is valid, but just know that it has double the storage of the Plus at 512GB, more RAM, a bigger 4700 mAh battery, a premium chipset, and faster charging speeds. Additionally, it's really nice that you have more color options to choose from this time. You get a choice between Pantone Rio Red, Pantone Mountain Trail, Pantone Cabaret, and Pantone Scarab. I have got the latter, which features a suede-like Alcantara finish. While some would argue this is the most premium option of the bunch, I prefer the Pantone Mountain Trail version with its wooden finish. Motorola hasn't made any drastic changes with the design of the Razr Ultra 2025 since it bears many of the same design aesthetics as last year's Razr Plus 2024. For a flip-style phone, it's still a charming design with its thin construction, although it's a touch thicker, wider, and heavier than its sibling in the Razr Plus 2025. The hinge, too, feels more substantial because it's reinforced with titanium. In addition to the gapless design as before, the crease in the middle of the display isn't as deep as before, even if it's still visible at just the right angle. More importantly, I really like the snappier response of the hinge, which is not as stiff as last year's Razr Plus 2024. For a phone that folds, it still feels incredibly sturdy, which is backed up by its IP48 rated construction, but I'm not confident that the Alcantara will hold up as well as some of other finishes. Not only do I worry about it staining, but I also wonder if it will fade with frequent wireless charging. Apart from the new finishes, the only other design changes involves the addition of the AI key on the left side of the phone. While the design remains largely unchanged, the new hinge design and additional finishes continue to make it charming amongst foldables. It's a minor size upgrade in my opinion, but the Razr Ultra 2025 now packs a 7-inch Super HD AMOLED display. That's a mere 0.1-inch increase over display size in the Razr Plus 2024 and 2025. First of all, I will say it's a good looking display complete with wide viewing angles, bright colors, and tons of details. And while the 22:9 aspect ratio doesn't interfere with how I generally use the phone, it does sort of make the video watching experience a bit odd, largely in part of how standard 16:9 videos have gaps on the left and right sides. I could perform a zoom to get videos to fill the entire screen, but then it crops a lot of the top and bottom. Thankfully, it's still brilliant looking with its peak brightness output of 1835 nits. This actually comes up short compared to the record-setting mark of 2158 nits achieved by the Razr Plus 2024, but it's still incredibly bright by today's standards. In fact, few phones have exceeded 2000 nits in our lab testings. On the outside, it will feature 4.0-inch POLED display with a resolution of 1272 by 1080 pixels. It's sharp and detailed and allowed me to better use the phone one-handed due to how it can run any app in full screen mode. I really love this, even though the camera lens can sometimes cover up parts of an app I need to access. Just as before, there are tons of personalization options and the ability to place it in one of its flex modes to access its desk display mode. I wasn't a fan of the switch Motorola made with the Razr Plus 2024 since it dropped the ultra-wide camera in favor of a telephoto one with 2x optical zoom, but I'm glad that Motorola has gone back to that setup with the dual camera setup on the Razr Ultra 2025, which consists of a 50 megapixel main camera paired with a 50 megapixel ultra-wide camera. Flip phones such as this are meant for vlogging, so ultrawide cameras are valued for this exact reason when it's paired with the outer screen for recording video. While there is an upgraded 50 megapixel selfie camera embedded into the main display, I still love being able to use the better rear cameras paired with the outer screen. This makes selfies and vlogging much easier. Content creators will enjoy the number of camera modes available with the Razr Ultra 2025, including new editions like Group Shot, which basically takes a burst of images and blends the best faces for the picture perfect shot. As much as I like using Pro mode to tweak the camera settings to my hiking, it's only for photos and not videos. Plus, it's missing a portrait video mode that other similar priced phones offers. Here are some camera samples of the Motorola Razr Ultra 2025. The arrival of the Razr Ultra 2025 puts Motorola into a deeper conversation with the best phones because it's finally armed with a flagship caliber chipset, the Snapdragon 8 Elite. I'm not surprised by how much of a difference this makes because I have seen the benchmark scores put up by other phones, but it definitely makes the Razr Plus 2025 the most powerful foldable phone in our tested to date. In Geekbench 6, the Snapdragon 8 Elite paired with 16GB of RAM outperforms last year's Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 powered Razr Plus 2024 by a long way. Its single and multi-core scores of 2719 and 8342 respectively even managed to beat Galaxy Z Flip 6. There's also a remarkable GPU performance boost as well, nearly doubling the frame rate that the Razr Plus 2024 achieved with 3D Mark's Wildlife Unlimited test. The 73.74 FPS average frame rate pulled in by the Razr Plus 2024 isn't too shabby, but the Razr Ultra managed 145.32 FPS running the same test. This is all translates to an exceptional performance no matter what I do or run on the phone. Scrolling through the interface is also buttery smooth, thanks in part to its adaptive 165Hz refresh rate, which gives animations that extra fluid look. Games run really well too, including when I play them in full screen mode with the outer screen. All of this just shows how much of a leap it is over last year's Razr Plus 2024. Software plays a critical role in giving the Razr Ultra 2025 much more value, mainly due to how it's offering several AI features out of the box. Moto's custom UI is running on top of Android 15, but it's amplified by how it integrates Moto AI and other AI assistants into the mix. Before I get into that, I will say that the Razr Ultra 2025 has a lot of unity when it comes to being productive, in addition to being able to run two apps simultaneously on the main display. I really appreciate how it's one of the few phones I can comfortably use one-handed, thanks in part of how the outer screen can run just about any app. I might be in the minority when it comes to seeing this as a huge benefit, but it's hard to describe just how helpful it is. There's also a Smart Connect, which offers an intuitive desktop-like experience that also seamlessly works with other devices. Essentially, it's Motorola's version of Samsung DeX, but it works entirely through a wireless connection, from being able to access apps and files stored on the Razr Ultra 25. Smart Connect can even allow me to cast a virtual version of the phone on my Windows 11 laptop. This is all fantastic, but I just wish it could work through USB-C as opposed to doing it just wirelessly. With a wired option, I would be able to directly connect my X-Real AR glasses to it for an even better experience. I am even happier to see that Motorola's in the AI race now, because Motorola AI is available right from the start. The company's been working on this for a while now, starting off as a beta with the Razr models last year and finally revealing it in full here. Some of the Moto AI tools can be quickly launched by pressing the dedicated AI key on the side of the phone, but the full suite is accessible by running the dedicated Moto AI app. These Moto AI tools consist of Catch Me Up, Pay Attention, and remember this, Catch Me Up uses AI to give me a helpful summary of my notifications. Pay Attention is a voice recorder that will transcribe and summarize recordings, and remember this allow me to save screenshots, photos and more for me to recall later. Over on the creative side, I really like the suite of tools that Moto AI offers, which is more or less the same stuff I have seen with Apple Intelligence, Galaxy AI and Google AI. For example, Image Studio lets me generate images through a text prompt, which I am happy to say manages to create realistic images when I asked to generate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fighting black cats. Meanwhile, Sketch to Image uses AI to take my crude drawings and generate finer, more detailed images. However, many of other AI-assisted photo editing tools I have come to use aren't handled by Moto AI at all. Instead, it leans on Google Photos to perform tasks such as removing unwanted subjects and re-imaging images. Likewise, it also incorporates Google Gemini and Perplexity to perform more advanced requests, but you only have access to them for 3 months, which you will then need to pay subscriptions to continue accessing their advanced features. I'll give Motorola credit for bringing these AI tools and assistants to the Razr Ultra 2025, but it's playing catch up. For example, it doesn't create richer document outlines and summaries with Pay Attention as I have seen with the Note Assist with the Galaxy S25, nor does it have anything remotely close to the call screen function of the Pixel 9. Despite this, it's a good starting point for keeping the Razr Ultra 2025 in the game when it comes to AI features. It just needs more of them at this point to match the utility that its rivals offer. At the same time, I am disappointed that Motorola still keeps to 3 years of software support, which is laughably short compared to other phones. Honestly, it's hard to believe that there is a 4700 mAh battery inside of the Razr Ultra 2025 because its overall size isn't that much different from the Razr Plus 2024. Paired with the power efficiency of the Snapdragon 8 Elite, the Razr Ultra 2025 reaches new heights with its battery endurance. Not only it is the most powerful foldable phone that has gone through our battery test, but it's also the longest lasting battery in a foldable as well. There is just no comparison here because it blows away the Razr Plus 24 and Galaxy Z Flip 6 with its remarkable time of 18 hours and 57 minutes. However, it only achieved that mark with the refresh rate set to efficiency fast mode. Out of the box, it's set to smart and balanced mode, reaching a time of 15 hours and 42 minutes running the same test. The default battery performance still lands the Razr Ultra 25 in our best phone battery life guide. In my day-to-day use, I am also pleased to see that it's making a huge difference because for a phone of its size, it easily carries me through an entire day without the need to charge. Luckily, it also gets an upgrade with its 45-watt wire charging, which gets it to 40% capacity in 15 minutes of charging. That goes up to 72% after 30 minutes of charging. I have yet to commit long term to using a flip style phone, but the Motorola Razr Ultra 2025 is making a strong case to make me ditch my Galaxy Z Fold 6. That's because this compact ultra sleek foldable phone is turbocharged in nearly every way over last year's Razr Plus 2024. Like I have said already, it's the most powerful and longest lasting foldable phone I have come across. On other note, I also love how it goes back to main and ultra wide camera setup, which is powerful combo for creators. I just wish there are more video centric modes to really make more use out of it. At the same time, the new Moto AI features help to diversify its experience, but it doesn't come close to matching the robust set offered by the Galaxy Z Flip 6. There's definitely still a lot more that Motorola could do to bring it to the same level, but it's not here in the current iteration. Most of all, I'm torn about the higher cost. It's a big step up over past models and sets a precedent for everything else. Price increases are inevitable, but this is just a bigger jump than what I anticipate shelling out for a flip style phone. It's not perfect, but the Razr Ultra 2025 is steering in the correct direction by entering the AI conversation, all while making marked improvements just above everywhere.